Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One. Raining really good. We're going to get probably 3 inches of rain. In a couple days ago, in about a 36-hour period, we got about 4 inches. The reason I get tons and my other buddy on this side, because of the mountains, for some reason we get slammed. My dad doesn't live too far away. He lives on another mountaintop. He can see all this over here, and he calls me all the time and says, "Hey, is it raining over there?" And I say, "Yep." And he said, "We're not getting nothing." So it's crazy. So even when you're looking for a piece of property, it matters literally 3, 4, 5, 6 miles away in some areas of the country where you can get a ton of rain. And just a few miles away, you don't get as much. So look at that. But that's not the reason for the video. The reason for the video is this morning I woke up, had covers up, I had my head on a very soft pillow in a very soft bed. I was comfy. Why are we comfy? Because I'm a wimp. I don't want to sleep on the floor. So what I'm going to talk about today is you need to decide your comfort level for SHTF. And in everyone's mind, SHTF is totally different. It could be an economic depression. It could be civil strife, massive conflict, massive turmoil around you. But now is to determine the level of comfort you want to go through SHTF. Be it economics, be it like the fall of Rome, a slow grinding down, which is happening right now. So determine for yourself. I have determined for myself, and I'm a wimp. I have lived out of a rucksack for months at a time. I have lived out of a Humvee. I've slept in just terrible places. I don't want to do that again. At the end of SHTF, there's not going to be someone that comes around to every retreat or every home and say, "Oh man, you guys, you roughed it so much you're going to get an award. This is the highest award for suffering." No. So, don't plan on suffering. You will decide your financial, your how much work you want to put in it. But today is the day. How much comfort do I want in SHTF? You got to think of it now, because you can't, when it happens, you might not have the ability to do things you want. You say, "Well, I want to do a backup water, I want to do this, I want to do..." If you don't have those things stocked right now, there's no way you're going to go get those items. And really, you need to get the items made and put together so you can test it, fix it, modify your whatever you're trying to do. Now, while we still have really a lot of resources. Yes, we're short on a lot of things, but you can scrounge and find a lot of things you need. So, I laid in that bed saying, life is good. I'm comfy. My philosophy in life after the military and during the military was 2 things. No one's shooting at me today, and I have a full belly. If those 2 things happen, I am good. No one's shooting at me, I got more than a full belly, life is good. That's how I look at it. If you've been in the military, you will understand that completely. So, I came down the stairs this morning. The first thing I do is always get the phone. I check my text, check to see if I missed any calls. I have elderly parents, I got other family members. I want to know if they're okay, and if not, they'll definitely have called me or texted me, so I can check the phone. That communication, to me, is important. So, grid down SHTF, if you value communication now, you're going to value being able to communicate in SHTF. So what are you doing about it? Are you working on a ham? Do you have GMRS? Do you have family radios? Or are you so close to those people you could actually just throw some sneakers on and run over there and check on them? Think about that. What level in SHTF do you want to have? You got to do it now. You got to put stuff back. You got to train. I also opened that refrigerator, pulled out that nice big old gallon of cold milk, poured it on some corn checks, and that's my first breakfast. I typically have 3 breakfasts in the morning. Everything's small. I don't need a lot. It's just a small little bowl of cereal. That was so good. In SHTF, I want cold milk. I want refrigeration. So now is the time that I'm planning for this. Doing solar, doing backups to that. I like it. While eating that bowl of cereal, I sat at that computer and I opened up, checked the emails. See, there's a million to answer. But that's a good thing, because there's emails. If there's no emails and no internet, that's a bad day. Check the news. I want to know things. I want to see what's going on in the world. I want to check the futures on the stock market just to get a heads up. Because I might see something there that says, ooh, wow, futures are down 3,000 points. But I don't think they could go down 3,000 points. I think there's some things that would kick in and stop it. But I want to know that information. If I want to know it now, I want to know it in SHTF because it's more important in SHTF. So, do you have a shortwave radio where you can just gather information from all over the United States? Now is the time. After that, I went over and took a shower. Oh my gosh, a nice warm shower. I have to take a shower in the morning, no matter if I don't need it. If I already took one in the evening, I take one in the morning because it wakes me up. That hot water, oh, it gets my day going. Also, massive bedhead in the morning. Gotta tame that stuff. And right now, I definitely need a haircut. Hot shower. Are you planning for a hot shower? If your level of comfort, you can get by without a hot shower, you're tougher and rougher than me. But I want a hot shower. So I'm making plans now for the hot shower. If you don't make the plans now and do them now, you're not going to pull all this stuff out of your pocket. I mean, you can store a lot of stuff and do projects later, but you're probably going to be missing some key components or something's not going to work. Now, if you're in a position where you say, Dave, I can't afford that, that's fine. You plan for your comfort level the way you can. You got a warm sleeping bag. You have lots of covers if it's cold. You might not have refrigeration, but can you put some food back? You might not have leftovers because you're going to have to consume all your leftovers because there's no way to keep it cold. Maybe if you live up north 6 months out of the year, it might be cold enough to do that. So if you plan for that, figured out, okay, I can take a cooler, put it outside in the snow, and I can keep things cold. Have you practiced it? Maybe you put something in the cooler, and in the morning you open up and say, oh, I'm going to get that powdered milk I made up that night before, and it's frozen solid. That's why we got to do things now and practice. You might say, Dave, I can't afford solar. Maybe you can afford some tiny little solar lights you put outside in the driveway, and then you can bring them in at night. Maybe it's candles. Then address your communication issues. You have to address every issue now. Figure out what your comfort level is, what you want to maintain. Can you afford that? Can you do things right now to make sure you can do it? But now is the time to finalize your plan. I could go on and on. Every aspect of life. Figure out what you're going to need during SHTF. After you get the basics figured out, say, man, I don't have hot water, but what could I get running water? Maybe you have a 2-story house. Maybe you could physically go upstairs above your shower, drill a hole and put a tank, a 50-gallon tank, drill a hole in, put another extra shower head on it, and at least have a little bit of gravity water. You got to think about all these things. When it collapses, it could be where you're not going to be able to get any more resources for a while. Or what resources you have to use to trade with other people to get what you need. So now is the time to write down, this is what I want to have. This is what I can afford to have. Right now, this is what I want to have. And then start prioritizing your comfort. I'm a wimp. I want to be comfortable. I'm tired. Right now it's pouring rain. I've spent weeks and weeks and weeks out there not even putting my head under any type of shelter other than a poncho. That's not for me anymore. Also, if I don't want to do it, my wife doesn't want to do it. As you know, my wife had a brain tumor removed, so she has some issues. I want to keep that woman as comfortable as possible. That is my task in life given to me by God when I married her. I want her as comfortable as possible. For her to go out in the woods and survive would be very hard for her. So my plan is not to have her ever have to go out in the woods. If we got to leave this place, that's why I have plans with other people. Mutual aid. I can go, even if it's just going into their remodeled barn, going into their garage. That's better than being outside right now. It is pouring rain. You might not have that option, so do you have rain gear? Proper rain gear that you have tested. You have stood out there for 30 minutes and worked in it. Not just stand there like this, but work, bend over. Because you might realize, hey, that rain jacket, every time I bend over to do something, it pulls up in the back and rain pours down my behind. Figure out what you're going to need. Get your items, train with them, practice them, use them, figure out if they're going to work at SHTF. I'm at the point now, this isn't time to be lackadaisical. You need to be focused on your prepping if you're serious. If you're not, turn my channel off, go to the lake this weekend, and whatever happens will happen. If that's your attitude, you're probably not watching my channel. But there's a lot of people out there, probably 90%, would rather put their head in the sand and not take responsibility for sustainment of their life and comfort. That they're willing to put it in the hands of the power grid. They're willing to put it into the municipal water system because water's going to come out. Water's always come into my tap. Why do I have to worry about backup water? Now is the time to worry about those things. This isn't doom and gloom. I get excited doing a project around here. I get excited becoming more self-sufficient so I don't have to rely on someone else. I hope this makes sense. Determine today what you want your level of comfort to be and work towards that. Thanks for watching.